Is it realistic for my condo board to ask for an acoustical performance of IIC 71 for the renovation of my condo? Well, actually, this is a really good question that will require some explanation. Often what we'll see is condo boards make a requirement over 70 IIC for their building. And of course, it is understandable because some manufacturers will publicize these kinds of performance out there. So of course, a condo board, put myself in your shoes, you basically want to make sure that there's no issue or litigation with your new building. So you require the residents or the condo owners to install an acoustical product, an acoustical membrane that's going to perform as much as we possibly can. But in a second, I'd like to run you through why it is impossible with a hard surface flooring to achieve these kinds of performances. In previous video clips, we talked about how a product being more resilient than another was key to sound deadening or impact transfer. So we even made the point that a carpet flooring, no hard surface would ever be able to compensate or to replace or to come close to the performance of carpet with a hard surface because it is much more of a conductor. So I'd like to take a second to put some numbers on the board and go through this with you. Product A and product B are two products available in the market, in your local market. Product A is claiming an IIC 71, which technically, before doing this, that's what a condo board would require. So this product, from the first looks of it, it meets your requirement. FIIC 62 is another product available, but unfortunately, this product, as much as it can have a lot of advantages and features, is not meeting your selection criteria for AcoustiTECH. But let's go a little bit deeper on how this works. As an example, product A is available at 69 cents a square foot locally in your town, where product B is at $1 a square foot locally. So of course, no consumer or no condo owner will go and look at this and say, I'm gonna go get the $1 product that's actually gonna be even below the requirement of the condo board, where this one seemed to be priced right and is also meeting the requirement. But because we know how AcoustiTECH works and we know better how AcoustiTECH works, there's most likely something that we need to dig a little bit deeper to find out. First of all, product A is tested in IIC, which stands for Impact Insulation Class, which is a lab test, where product B was tested in the field. That's what the F stands for, Field Impact Insulation Class. Right off the bat, in previous video clips, we also covered the fact that a lab test compared to a field test, we need to compare apples to apples. A field test is a more realistic number that's going to be more representative of reality. So if we want to now compare the two, because the condo building that your residents live in is not a laboratory, it's a real life building. Even though we don't know precisely what the structure is, it still gives us an idea of what we're looking for. In this particular case, if we want to compare product A at IIC 71, we would compare it to a field product that was tested in the field, basically. So you need to drop 2 to 5 points to the lab test to transfer it into a field test to be able to evaluate where we're going to possibly end up with. In this case, we're going to take a 71, we're going to drop it by 4, which now is a 67 FIIC. The other one was already tested in the field in reality, so you're looking at a 62 rating. Now, you're looking at conditions in which the products were tested, because it is the absolute key to sound deadening. As a matter of fact, when a tapping machine is on the first floor and there's a receiving machine, anything in between those two machines will play a role within the performance. So of course, if you added, as an example, a suspended ceiling to your, an acoustic suspended ceiling to your structure, it's gonna add a great deal of performance. And often when we see these kinds of claims, that's what's behind it, is there's a suspended ceiling in the test. And you need to ask yourself, is in my building, do we have a suspended ceiling? Most often, the answer is going to be absolutely not. So we cannot ask for a performance, or we cannot assume that a product that was tested with a suspended ceiling will come even near to the performance that you're trying to achieve in your building, because there's no suspended ceiling in your building. And this is only an example. So if we take a 67 FIIC and we drop it by 10 to 14 points, that's how much an acoustical ceiling can add into a result. So if we drop it, for example, by either 10 or 14, you end up with an FIIC 53 to 57 without suspended ceiling. So the reality is, if you're building, at first you were under the impression that you're asking for 71. The reality of it is, people that are showing up with a piece of paper or any kind of lab test that says, my product gives me this, you end up in reality with products going to be often below the 55 FIIC recommended rating by the Building Code of Canada, as an example, or even, as a matter of fact, North America is exactly the same way. Most often they're going to be even higher than 55 FIIC without suspended ceiling. But product B all along was tested in the field without suspended ceiling. So all of a sudden, product B, which was a little more expensive than product A, is still sitting at FIIC 62, which is as good as it gets when it comes to hard surfaces, where product A, which was looking like really, really good off the start, has a very slow finish, because you're actually looking at a rating that's going to be well below what your expectations would be. So the conclusion to all this is very simple. Condo boards, we need to look at what structure you're dealing with. What is your reality? And you need to ask yourself, what performance am I really looking for? And then therefore, if it's, for example, an FIIC 60, which is greatly respectable, well, you need to make sure that whatever person or condo owner showing up at your desk, you need to make sure that that product is actually performing to that level within your building, within your parameters and conditions. So this is a little exercise that I thought would be very interesting to do, because of course there's a lot of misinformation out there, and customer satisfaction is the key to all this when it comes to sound deadening.